At this point, we're a decent way into the anime season of fall 2017, and so I'm going to go through, just for the heck of it, and give you my top 10 anime of the season, plus some rewards. These are things I'm just enjoying watching, and their only qualification is that they have to be currently ongoing. This includes sequels, shows continuing from other seasons, and things that aren't quite anime. This is my list, and so what I say goes, but that said, I understand that this isn't everyone's list, this is just my opinion, and if you've got your own opinion, that's great. Post down in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys are watching. So, with all that out of the way, welcome one and all. I am Coriander Stone, and these are my top 10 anime of fall 2017, plus some awards. Starting us off nice and weak, the So Bad It's Good anime award does not go to Sengoku Nightblood because that would mean putting that show and good in the same sentence. I considered giving it to Black Clover, before realizing that the appropriate awards for that show are So Bad It's Pathetic and Biggest Waste of Crunchyroll's advertising budget. That's a really good show, which is in no way ruined by but could have really done without that creepy romance award goes to the Ancient Magus Bride. Moving on to something a little bit more pleasant. Well, the Best Opening of the Season award. That's a little bit harder. Well, let's start with the obvious. Were there any Sarano Hiroyuki openings this season? We all know that he's basically the god of the anime music world. But no, there weren't, so can't look there. Let's see. Well, Lisa did the new Fate Apocrypha opening, and it's really good. And the new Ruby OP is the best Ruby opening yet. And Ancient Magus Bride has an absolutely gorgeous OP. Speaking of gorgeous, the opening to Children of the Whale is an absolute work of art. Hell, even Black Clover's OP looks really cool. I wonder what it could go to. I feel like I'm forgetting something. There's something missing here. Something rapturous. Ah yes, of course. The absolute winner of the best OP of fall 2017 is Rapture from Juni Taisen's Zodiac War. As for ED, well, that's a lot easier since Sarano Hiroyuki did do one of those this season. He teamed up with Do As Infinity to provide the ED for what else but Juni Taisen, so that wins here again. And the most lazily animated opening that still somehow manages to be enjoyable through the use of high energy music, despite the fact that the chorus is basically just stills and does not really match the music. In other words, the 10-Year-Olds with iMovie award goes to actually a three-way tie between Sengoku Nightblood, Code Realize, and Altair Recorded Battle Part 2. Seriously, guys? Seriously? I thought anime was supposed to be short for animation, and I'm not seeing much animation here. Really? Really? You call that? No, never mind. Anyway, sad animation to good songs aside, let's press on to the actual meat of this list. My top 10 anime of fall 2017. Number 10. Land of the Lustrous. At first glance, this show might seem to be a sort of lesser Ruby, what with its three-dimensional animation, gorgeous fight sequences, and its energetic, young, and excitable protagonist. And while those are all definitely realistic points of comparison, Land of the Lustrous also has a lot of other things going for it, that are its own and original to the show. To me, it's a show which I find incredibly relaxing, which is a little weird considering the consistent cruelty of the other characters on the island. They're all incredibly mean and harsh toward our protagonists, and it's actually kind of sad to see how all but one or two turn their back on them. But the fluidity and beauty of the fight sequences, taken together with the sort of relaxed nature of the characters' lives despite the fact that they're always in danger, is quite relaxing. The only thing that mars that for me, and in mars I mean in a good way, is that this show is in fact a seinen, meaning that I'm guessing it's going to get a hell of a lot darker, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that happen. Number 9, the new Kino's Journey anime. While I have to admit I never got around to finishing it, I've always enjoyed the original Kino's Journey anime. It's relaxing and quiet, but at the same time tells incredibly complex moral stories, and that's exactly what this series captures as well. All of the moral ambiguity and the complicated scenarios that Kino enters and exits, with her as an enjoyable integral part at the middle of it, and of course, her motorcycle, Hermes, as well. The art style is absolutely gorgeous in this new adaptation, and the stories are stronger than ever before. All in all, I'm just really loving getting to see these characters again, with a whole host of new adventures, and a whole host of new complicated moral questions to ponder. Definitely a show I recommend. Number 8, UQ Holder. Looking for a new, lighthearted, action-packed shonen for the season? Try Black Clover. Looking for one with the protagonist you won't actually want to strangle? Try UQ Holder. UQ Holder is technically a sequel to the Negima series, but as someone who's never watched any part of Negima and knows absolutely nothing about it, I can tell you firsthand that you don't need any prior knowledge of the universe to like and have fun with this series. It's got great characters, some really funny jokes, and a fast-paced plotline that will impress you, especially compared to Black Clover. It also has a decent amount of fanservice-y humor, and while that's usually not something I'm into, it certainly doesn't stop me from enjoying the series. If you're into that stuff, great, you'll enjoy this. If you're not into it, great, try it anyway. There's enough other humor and enough other things going on that it won't really matter. Number 7, Ancient Magus Bride. If I had to describe Ancient Magus Bride in one word, it would be atmospheric. The magical atmosphere and mysticism, the beautiful animation, the melodic soundtrack, they all combine to create this atmosphere that I rarely see in anime. It's an atmosphere of old magics, the fae and spirits of the earth, fire and water and river stone charms, that sort of thing. It's a world you just want to lose yourself in, and the series does basically that. The story follows a young girl called Chise, whose ability to see spirits left her so much of an outsider that when she has no one who wants to take care of her, she sells herself in an auction. The man who purchases her is Elias, an ancient mage with a skull for a head, who wants her to be his apprentice. He introduces Chise to a world of magic wonders and darkness, and we get introduced right along with her. This show doesn't appear to be going anywhere particularly quickly. The world is so elaborate and engrossing that I don't really care. Number 6, Blood Blockade Battlefront and Beyond. The second season of Blood Blockade Battlefront, and I couldn't be more hyped if I tried. Blood Blockade Battlefront merges perfectly the worlds of New York City and this mysterious magical ultra-world, full of monsters and vampires and God knows what else. As someone who spent more than half my life living outside of New York City, I love this show for how well it captures the New York City crowd, the New York City atmosphere, and the New York City bustle, not to mention the New York City disregard for the people around you, all while throwing in these monsters and supernatural elements. The story feels like a patchwork together crossover of Durarara, Baccano, and Bungo Stray Dogs, and honestly I enjoy the hell out of it. The action is great, the comedy is hysterical, and the characters are really, really strong. The story follows the exploits of the group Libra, whose job it is to maintain order in this supernatural mess of a city, but they're about as organized as the city itself. What can I say except it's fun, it's great, and if you watched the first season, you're probably already watching it. Number 5, Altair: A Record of Battle, Part 2. I complained a lot about this show in my good first episodes video back when the first few episodes of this show came out. And I wasn't wrong to complain, but the reason for my complaints was basically that it had so much potential and it just wasn't living up to it. And now it finally is, and I couldn't be happier. The show started out with a good many problems with continuity and wasting time, and not to mention all of its plot holes, but the plot holes have been filled and the plot has moved on from them to a much stronger place. At this point, while it still isn't quite in the league of other shows of its ilk, Altair: A Record of Battle is still well worth a watch and incredibly enjoyable, and I look forward to every new episode. The world building specifically has become incredibly strong and involved. It's a fast-paced story of military strategy and political intrigue, and one I highly recommend. Number 4, the second half of Fate Apocrypha. It's a Fate anime. What else can I say? It shares the same strong characters, brilliantly written intrigue, fascinating character dynamics, and badass action sequences that every canonical Fate anime shares. Well, except maybe that one. While A1 Pictures' entry in the franchise might not be quite as strong animation and soundtrack-wise as the Ufotable ones, it's still quite good in both departments, and the characters and story are very intriguing, especially considering the differences between this and the other Holy Grail wars we've witnessed, specifically in formatting. This time around, we've got double the number of servants, which means double the number of strong characters and great action sequences. All in all, I'm just super psyched to see where this show will go, and even more psyched to finally have another Fate anime with a protagonist who isn't Shiro Emiya. Number 3, Juni Taisen. This is without a doubt one of the best battle royale anime ever, and I am so excited to see where it goes next. Juni Taisen is a 12-person battle royale that takes place once every few years or decades, I'm not quite sure, between 12 impressive warriors, one representing each of the signs of the zodiac. They have some sort of supernatural abilities, but the main focus is on strategy and battle tactics, their fighting abilities, and their backstories. We get fleshed out backstories and character development for every single character, and they're all layered, incredible characters. And the best part? We're not told which one to root for. We get to see things through the eyes of everyone. So far we're 5 episodes in and I still don't know who's gonna win, which I find incredibly exciting. Bloody, gory, and graphic, this isn't a show for everyone, but if you like this sort of show, you will love Juni Taisen. Number 2, Children of the Whales. So first off, this has got to be one of the most gorgeous anime I've ever seen, and hands down wins for best animation of the season. Beyond that, Children of the Whale has a premise that's a little bit hard to explain while also doing full justice to the show. I will give it a literal explanation in a minute, but first I'm going to try to give you a feel for the show by explaining it through other shows. That is to say that Children of the Whales is what would happen if Studio Ghibli made Scrapped Princess, but Scrapped Princess was actually Gargantua on the Avernus planet, and Gargantua was actually from the New World, only one of the main characters from the New World was actually Kanda from D. Gray Man. Sound like a confusing mess? Well, it absolutely isn't. This show is frigging amazing. Plot-wise, the story takes place on this island ship called Mud Whale. It sails upon a sea of sand and is made up of complicated traditions and an intricate society. It's a beautiful and incredibly touching story so far, with dark plot twists and strong characters. It's perfectly paced, feeling relaxed and laid back, but also managing to fit in a fight scene and a dramatic plot twist in just about every episode. And if you aren't already watching it, then go watch it right the hell now. Number 1, RWBY Volume 5. I've been a huge fan of RWBY for years, and this is the best that RWBY has ever been. Every season before now has had its strengths and weaknesses. Volumes 1 and 2 brought us the fast-paced action and great comedy that have become the hallmarks of RWBY, but were rather light on plot. Volume 3 had a much darker and more complex plot, but not as much going on in the first half, and Volume 4 was all about the incredibly strong world building, but wasn't nearly as funny and didn't contain anywhere near as much plot. So far, Volume 5 has seemed to have all those things in full. It's hilarious, it's got great action, gorgeous animation, fast-paced plotting, incredible amounts of character development, badass action scenes, and, yes, an incredible amount of world building. The only thing I'm worried about is they aren't going to kill anyone. See, if they don't kill anyone now, it's going to start feeling like the tension increase after the deaths in Volume 3 was kind of a false flag, and I'm going to be pretty annoyed. So I really do hope, despite loving the entire cast, they kill someone to keep up that tension.
Thank you, Sienna.
Well, looks like that takes care of that. Sorry, Sienna. So those are my 10 favorite anime of the fall 2017, but what are yours? Please leave a note down in the comments telling me. I'm curious what everyone's watching and if I missed something. Also, leave me a like and subscribe to let me know if you enjoyed this video. This is Coriander Stone, and I thank you for watching.